everyone. This is Tanya and Andre with ARC Solvers and the Miami Business Leaders Group. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is Thursday, and we are so excited because our conversation today is going to be awesome. We are going to be talking about getting leads, getting business leads, and we all know that we need leads, right, to grow our business. So we are going to have such a great time with Dr. Theresa, who has joined us. Hey, Theresa, thank
Hi,
you so
everybody.
much.
It's my pleasure.
And we are going to get to know a little bit more about her and what she does and how she can help you get leads right away on the internet. So right before we get to that, I do want to say that if you have not joined us inside the Miami Business Leaders Group, you have to get in there. If you're a CEO, entrepreneur, a business leader in the Miami community, we want you inside of the Miami Business Leaders Group. We're having a lot of fun in there. We're networking. Teresa's part of the group. And she's just posting amazing content that is relevant to your business. So if you haven't, please search for us, Miami Business Leaders. And we're also going to put a link to the group on the chat here soon so that you can click on it and go ahead and join our group. We will ask you some questions before you join because we want to know that you are serious about growing your business and networking with other business leaders. So thank you so much for taking your lunch hour and spending it time with us. Again, we are Tanya and Andre with ARC Solvers, Cybersecurity and IT Managed Services, where we provide managed IT services and cybersecurity to businesses all over South Florida. So if you're interested in that, we also want to hear from you too. You can find us, all of our information is on the page, and we will also post a link to our website. All right, so now let's get started. Theresa, how are you?
I am super fantastic. It's a great day.
It is, and it's a beautiful day outside, and we're so happy that you have taken some of your time to really speak to us and the audience about your business and how to grow our business with online leads. So I'm super excited to hear you are the expert. We know nothing about this, so you're actually going to be educating us as business owners as well. So we're excited. Consider this like a consultation.
Okay, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I know with your business, it takes a lot to run a business. And both of you are out there being leaders in the community and really reaching out and creating a foundation for all of us to support one another. And hats off to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So Theresa, tell us, for those of you, those that don't know you, tell us your story. Who are you? How did you get into this?
Well, it's a great story. I can actually remember the day like it was yesterday when I graduated from Ohio State University with a bachelor's degree in occupational therapy. And a little voice inside my head said, yes, I'll do this for 20 years. And after 24 years, going to a clinic really didn't interest me anymore. And I wanted to figure out what else could I do. It was that moment of transition that so many of us have been through, especially recently. What are we doing? And for me, marketing was something I really enjoyed. And online marketing was the best way for me to be able to reach as many people as I possibly could. I started making videos, great videos. The clients didn't know what to do with it. So I learned how to put a website together so I knew how to get the video on their website. And then I spent 18 months in a mastermind group specific for search engine optimization for lead generation. I didn't know a lot. So when they handed us 4 different thick volumes of instructions, I just followed the instructions and was successful. One of my websites actually sold for $10,000.
Nice.
Wow.
And the leaders of the mastermind came to me and they said, Theresa, Will you please lead the ladies in the group? They need some direction. I said, sure, I'd be happy to. So I was teaching the ladies as well. And it was just a great experience helping them get their websites up and running, getting them ranked on the first page of Google. And one of the ladies was really good at social media. So I started to kind of be intrigued a little bit by that. And when I discovered that part of social media that was called paid advertising, I was hooked. Life had given me lemons, and I made some lemonade from it, because this whole shift over to marketing slowly walked me through to what I'm doing now. And everything I learned has been a setup for what I do now. One of my mentors says, life is a setup for what you need to do next. If you don't like what you're doing, do it well, because then you'll be able to grow into what you need to be. And now with the leads, I'm able to use a series of methods for people, for businesses, to get the leads that they so desire, whether it be ranking their website using keywords, whether it be using paid advertising, whether it be putting their marketing on autopilot with either email or messenger chat bots. It's usually you want 2 platforms as a business to make your business grow. There's a million ways to do it. Focus on 2. When you're focused on 2, that way you're able to do it well and do it right and do it effectively. For most businesses, they may or may not have an email address list. Now, I can tell you from day one, every marketing class I've ever taken for business talks about the gold is in the email list. They're not kidding. That really is where it's at. A lot of people struggle with sending the emails out because they think, oh, I don't want to bother anybody. Oh, it's too much. Who wants to read my stuff? Well, who are you not to share what you know? Who are you not to give some information out to people? And they can read it at their leisure. When the pandemic hit, a lot of businesses were left with only their email list to contact their customers. They didn't have people walking in the front door anymore. A lot of these businesses had to shift to brick and mortar presence to doing business online. And like the restaurants that had the list in place and already had an online system going for their marketing, it was real easy for them to pivot into an online delivery system because they already had the contacts with their clients. So the email lists, the way to build that is you can build it very easily with a messenger marketing chatbot. The chatbot's like if you open up somebody's website and down there in the bottom right-hand corner, there might be a little guy saying, hey, what can I help you with? What would you need? Chat's open. And some of them are unautomated and they give you just a URL for that help page that you're looking for. And some of them will get an attendant. So you have a human to talk to and communicate with. You can also use these chatbots to collect email addresses as well. And when you're collecting those email addresses, it's okay to have a communication and a regular ongoing conversation with that person. The business, you'll end up with what's called the prospects list, and you'll end up with what's called the buyers list. Now, the buyers list, you could have 5 people on there, and you could have 100 people over here on your prospects list. That's okay because the buyers will buy 15 times more from you again and again and again than what your prospects will. Get them on the prospect side, communicate with them, walk them through a buyer's journey. If you think about, who's bought a car? Anybody bought a car? Mm-hmm. When you go to buy that car, you're thinking, oh, I want a car that goes really fast and has a 400 horsepower engine and races like the Dickens down the road. Or you're thinking, I need something with like utility and function, something all the kids can pile in the back of. You decide what kind of car you want. And then you go into the features. You want to make sure it has, a heated seat if you live up north. Now make sure it has a cooling seat if you live in the South. You want things like automatic doors and reinforced, whatever you want on the car. So this is a whole journey you go through. Then you go buy the car. Now, as a business owner, you need to just reverse engineer that process so you know what you have to offer. What if people need to think about before they get to you? What do they need to decide upon that brings them to you, that makes them realize or understand that you're the solution for their problem? What steps did they go through to get to you in the first place? And when you go through this reverse engineer process for your ideal customer, then when you're talking to them via email, you're giving them that information. When you're creating a post on Facebook or Instagram or any other social media platform, you want to give them that information. The best thing you can do is be where they are. I had a colleague call me up this morning. He said, Theresa, I need some help. He said, I have a customer who's a real estate agent, and he wants to send out Facebook messages to anyone who was a client of his 30 years ago, has no relationship with them, has never so much as sent them a Christmas card. I said, well, you've got to think about where they're at. And where most people are at right now is they're dealing with this shift in the pandemic. So like for a real estate agent, for him, a lot of people are tempted to sell their homes because prices are priced really high right now. People are relocating out of areas where there's too many rules for lockdown and going to places where they think there might not be so many rules. So if you talk to them where they're at, ask them, how are you doing in this pandemic? What's changed for you? And open up the conversation. So like in an email, you might want to send out the email that talks about, well, let's say for instance, the cybersecurity issue. You gave a great testimonial about how that happened for the Miami School Board,
Right.
which was very unfortunate for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's top of mind. And you did the smartest thing you could do. You went right on social media and addressed the issue. It was a fantastic, quick thinking public relations move. Build on that. Stay on that. Don't let it walk away. Don't let it solve or sizzle, melt down into nothing. Remind people, remember what happened? How old were those young people that did that?
Right.
How old are the pros that do this stuff? Yeah.
So, you bring up a few interesting points because, first of all, get the emails. How many of us business leaders or business owners interact with our clients? For example, the other day we had an issue. We had a plumbing issue at our home, and the person came, they did the work, we paid them, but nowhere there was an email. Like that was a perfect opportunity for that plumber to then come in and say, okay, let me just get your email, and then from there opt in into the email newsletter. So and even at restaurants, sometimes it's kind of like, I really don't want to get your newsletter. If you go to Macy's or something, you're always want to get your email, but all it is an ask, and at worst case the customer says no. Or maybe I think it was Kohl's where I went one time, and they said, if you give us your email, we'll give you 5% off right now. And of course they made sure that it was a valid email, because then the clerk said, okay, put your email in, you're going to get a code, and then that way it's a real email. And like you mentioned, during the pandemic, when you're looking for customers, if you don't have an email list, how are you going to contact your customers? So I think that was a great point. Another thing that you touched on that I want to talk about is sending these emails, sending these newsletters. I probably, Theresa, I probably get about 150 emails a day. So for me personally, when I'm getting these emails and it's not someone I know, I junk it. But so tell us, like, as far as the perspective, as far as someone who is going to do an email marketing campaign, what should they be expecting as far as an open rate? Because if they're sending 1,000 emails to their list that they have, how much, how do they know it's working? Well, obviously, if someone calls, it's working, but
Sure.
what is the expected rate when you send out an email and, as far as the bounce rate, the open rate, et cetera? Talk about that a little.
That's a great question, Andre. The open rate, an ideal open rate is 20% or more.
Mm.
Now, prior to hiring a copywriter, I didn't have that open rate. Now that I have a copywriter, my open rate's almost always at least 20%.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And so I guess the copywriter is essentially writing in a style where it's going to grab the reader's attention, and then therefore that's why you have the open rate. So one of the things I talked about is delegating. I posted that the other day. It's like, don't try to do everything. So you definitely recommend don't doing it yourself, and then or unless finances or whatever the case is. But when you can, delegate it
Yeah,
to a copywriter so that that's their profession. That's what they do.
exactly. Exactly. And then the other thing is the best day to send emails is on Tuesday.
Hmm.
And one of the craziest things I ever heard was to send the same email out twice with a different subject line. You send it out in the morning, and if they don't open it, you send it again at night. Because many people like yourself get 150 emails in a day. They might have missed it that morning, but as they're sitting relaxing at home at night, they may be scrolling through their emails on their phone.
Yeah.
And guess what? They'll open something recent before they open something that's old.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another great way to manage your email list. Now, people will opt out. They'll unsubscribe. That's normal. And the crazy part about that is that's good news. You don't want people on your list that won't open.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want people on your list that don't click whatever buttons you put in your email because it hurts you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay when people opt out. They're not your ideal client anyway. One of the things I like to do is I have a whole separate Gmail account that's just for things I sign up for, whether it be an Eventbrite meeting or a free offer or a coupon. That Gmail address gets all of the information for me. And that way I can keep my business email clean and focus on what I need to focus on during the day. And then when I know I'm going to a meeting or need that coupon, I go into my other Gmail account. So it's manageable from a personal aspect also. Now you brought up a very, very valid point, is when you're collecting those email addresses like Kohl's did, they made sure it was a valid email address because they were giving you something of value that you could use immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whether it's a coupon, whether it's a piece of information, it might be a graphic or PDF, how to clean out your pipes. You're right, the plumbing company missed a huge opportunity with you.
Mm-hmm.
The real estate agent, he could be sending out information on a regular basis about keeping your house organized. That's huge for homeowners organization. Think about where they're at and what they're doing and what's important to them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of clients that are speakers and they lost a lot of engagements. So we had to shift and get messages out to their potential audiences along the idea of making sure they're okay first, talking about different tips about living at home, working from home. And then we dove down a little deeper into each speaker's genre. It's okay to start out general and then dive deeper into what each focus of the business is. Now, I mentioned the chat bots for the restaurants. That was fantastic for them to already have that in place. You can still do that. You can also use keywords. Now, keywords are the essence of marketing. It's kind of like the bedrock, the foundation of marketing. If you use keywords.io, This is a great simple tool to find out what keywords apply to your business. And then use those keywords. Use the top 10 to 15 keywords on a regular basis in your ad copy, on your social media posts, in your titles for your videos, as you're speaking during your video, because the artificial intelligence knows what you're saying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and those keywords help drive traffic to you. The social media platforms, just like Google, will show you what you're interested in. So if somebody's interested in cybersecurity and you keep using that word and the words around, the keywords around cybersecurity, Facebook and Google will send those people to you. So you can get those leads just by being exposed to them. The biggest gain in marketing and getting your leads is getting people aware that you're there. I have, it happens all the time. The clients are like, well, how come you don't ask them to buy now? Where's the ad telling them to buy now? Well, it's like the car buying experience. You don't run out the door and buy a car. You go through a process or a journey to decide what you want in the car, and you figure out who's available then. So for any business owner, awareness is key for people knowing you're available to them. Using your keywords is the easiest road to get awareness built up. Use them on your website. Use them in the headings on your website. Use them as page titles on your website. If you have a keyword like cybersecurity, have a whole page, a whole blog post, cybersecurity.
Wow. So let me ask you a question with all that, because you mentioned Google, you mentioned Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's TikTok. I mean, like, there are so many avenues out there to advertise your business, so many different marketing platforms. So like, if you can give us like the top 5 for a small business owner in the Miami Business Leaders Group, that they're like, okay, look, Theresa, this is all great, but there's no way. I think one time I Googled it, I think there's like 70 different social media platforms where you can go.
It's crazy.
Twitter, I mean, we didn't even talk about that yet. So what would you say? I mean, and of course it depends on the industry, business to business, business to consumer, but let's just say it's a business to business, business person listening now. What would you say are the top 5 where they should focus on when they're doing their marketing?
Business to business, that's the LinkedIn platform.
Okay.
Now the advantage of LinkedIn, it also has a business to consumer natural fallout, because people that are on there are consumers, but it is more of a business to business focus. Definitely have a Facebook presence. In July, when so many companies stopped their Facebook advertising, they all went back. On August the 1st, I could barely get their software to function because it was overwhelmed, I'm sure. All those companies went back. Yes, you need to be on Facebook also. Email marketing, definitely have email marketing going on. That 20% open rate is key. 5's a lot. I would focus on those 3.
3, okay.
And then if you have time and you want to put whatever you've got on LinkedIn and Facebook and you want to put it on Twitter, you could. Now, Instagram is not a business to business platform, and neither is TikTok. Instagram is more of a woman looking for a shopping mall.
Okay.
It's where people go to relax and chill and discover new fun things to entertain themselves with.
So they're not looking to be sold. They're not looking to be sold on Instagram.
They're not. Now, what's interesting is Facebook owns Instagram. So when I run paid advertising on Facebook, I will run it on Instagram also. I mean, it's to focus, you're posting on there, it has a different flavor. If you're business to business, Instagram posting isn't going to do you a whole heck of a lot of good. You know, I see a lot of coaches out there, and like, they probably are doing well because women will buy that service. But like a cybersecurity business, accountants, attorneys, yeah, your more traditional business to business wouldn't do well on Instagram. TikTok is definitely a consumer driven. Great to find good recipes on there. If there's a dentist that actually did so well on TikTok, he had to open up a second practice.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of it does come down to your industry as well. And again, TikTok has a whole different flavor to it. I don't have the personality to be on TikTok. Otherwise, I was going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a couple of weeks taking some lessons and classes and invested some money in it and went, Theresa, you do not have this personality. You know, when I saw Gary Vee shove a banana down his throat and say, nobody eats a banana like Gary Vee on TikTok, I was like, that is not me. So do what you're comfortable with. Do what you enjoy. You know, a friend of mine is a mortgage broker, and his daughter loves social media. She loves making his YouTube videos. Go for it. YouTube's a fantastic place to retarget and educate people. That plumber could be doing gold on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Gold. Yeah.
One of the things that we do here at Arc Solvers is that when I post something on the Arc Solvers Facebook page, the business Facebook page, I'm just copying and pasting and going to LinkedIn and pasting and then going to Twitter and pasting. And if it's a video, I'll do the same thing. I'll just upload it. It just takes a few more minutes. So
yeah,
you know, like you said, if you have the time, it is definitely something that you want to use as much platforms that make sense to your business. If your business is a consumer and you're doing pizza and you want to show the chef doing it a certain way, then yeah, maybe TikTok,
Instagram, TikTok, yeah,
is the best way. But for the more serious things, you definitely want to, you know, keep it to those other platforms you mentioned.
right. And when you post the video, you can write your email about the video and send people to the video from the email.
Yeah, like a little, a few sentences, like a little blog post, and then
right. You don't have to recreate the wheel or create a whole nother thought process there. One of the best tools I've learned is, and I fought this like crazy because it was shown to me as a spreadsheet on a computer. I'm a pen and paper kind of gal. So at the beginning of the calendar month or any 30-day period for a client, I'll sit down and write out a theme for that month that reflects the current cultural that's going on for their audience, the current pop culture issues. If you go to BuzzSumo, that's all you need to find out what's going on, what do people talk about in the world. And then each week there's a sub theme. If I do this at the beginning of the 30 days, rolling out my message for those clients is easy peasy. It's simple. It becomes a no-brainer kind of task because I already thought it through. Mm-hmm. I already know what I'm going to talk about. You know, my assistants pulled pictures or images or graphics for me. I've already researched what videos need to be done. So you take that, and it should take about 90 minutes, about an hour and a half at the beginning of a 30-day period, and you just lay it out for the next 4 weeks. What is the theme? What are the sub themes? And that way you've got a connection to your audience. You've got relatable material. You've got things that are easy to send out, and you can hit the different platforms with that same message. Mm-hmm. Now there's tools out there like Buffer. Buffer will let you post to Facebook and then put it on your Instagram. The other tool to use is called IFTTT. If this, then that, IFTTT. It is the coolest thing since sliced bread.
What does that do?
You can tell it if I post on my business Facebook page, share it with my LinkedIn business page.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You can tell it if I post on Instagram, post it on Twitter. It takes out that other step for you.
No, that saves a lot of time. And one of the things you
It
mentioned,
does.
actually, what we do in our company is we have like a Monday.com or ClickUp if some people use ClickUp, and we do the exact same thing. We have a calendar and we have the theme. Okay, this week we're going to be talking about this topic, and we
Good.
already like know what we're going to talk about, and it just makes it so much easier because
Doesn't.
when you're working and the phones are ringing and clients are calling and now it's like 4 o'clock, you haven't posted anything for 2 days. But when you plan that from the beginning and just say, okay, you have your virtual assistant and yourself, just copy and paste and put it along or use IFTT, it's like so much better. So highly encourage everyone to, you have to plan it. You have to take some time out, even if it's a Sunday night or something when the phones aren't ringing, and just take the time and just document it, and then let that process follow.
Absolutely. And what's cool about the whole thing is you're shooting for awareness for the leads to come to you. It's
Mhm.
not a matter of going out there and buy my stuff. Here's my card, sale today. People aren't there, especially in this time. They're not buying things right away. I mean, it's the end of September. They're thinking about what to buy for Christmas.
Mhm.
So yes, get your Christmas sales ready and find out what people like and want and need. And as business owners, get ready with your special offers. Don't
Well, I
expect
know
them to run out and buy it now.
one thing for Christmas when it comes to us is you want to get your cybersecurity right, because that's when mostly all the credit card hacking happen, all of these purchase frauds, hackers and scammers buying Christmas gifts on your credit card. So message that we want to send out during the holidays is the cybersecurity for businesses during this time. So Theresa, let me ask you this, because everything that you're telling us you do for other people, correct? Other businesses,
Yes.
is that correct, right?
Yes.
So tell us about your services and what you can provide for other businesses or people that are looking for someone to help them with their internet leads, because we know that it's needed, but not everyone can do it themselves, has the knowledge, and really has the time.
Yeah.
So what is your process and what kind of services do you provide to small businesses that would need someone like you?
Well, the business, I love serving businesses and getting them going. And the small businesses are my favorite, getting them out there. Paid advertising on Facebook and Instagram. So many people have gotten burned by that because you just don't know what you're doing. And that would be a great way I can serve a business, is running their Facebook ads for them, creating that campaign, making sure they've got the right message and right images. Copywriting is another wonderful service I can offer people, whether it be copywriting for their emails, copywriting for their posts. Maybe they need some copywriting redone on their website, because the messages, people go there and then they don't even stay. And there's all kinds of analytics we can use to watch that, like Lucky Orange and Google Analytics and things like that. So the other thing I can do for people is actually send out the emails for them. People are like, oh, you'd manage an email campaign. I said, sure. Because in e-commerce, that's 40% of their revenues. Yeah. So email is very important for business to have. Can do that for them also. Now, the other thing that I would like to mention is with LinkedIn ads, it's definitely a good place to be and definitely a service I can offer as well. Google ads are very expensive unless you're ready to open up your bank account to Google. That I can run those ads. I prefer not to, because it's very expensive. Yeah, and it doesn't really apply to most small business owners. Facebook ads is a great way for a business to get out there, get awareness, get their leads built up, promote their webinars, promote their events. That's a great service for me to provide for people. Yes.
And I know, Theresa, that you are definitely a Miami business leader. You're a South Florida business leader, because
Thank you.
seen you and we've known you for a while now, and you are definitely a mover and shaker in the South Florida community. And if I'm not mistaken, you have an event that's coming up with some amazing entrepreneurs and business leaders such as yourself. Talk to us about that and how can we learn more and when is it and who you have coming to speak on it. Talk to us about it.
Oh, this is a project that's near and dear to my heart. My goodness, in the middle of the pandemic, my sister who lives in Ohio, she and I met in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And on my 14-hour drive up there, I said, I need to do something big. And I came up with this event. I'm so excited. I have a LinkedIn expert, Sandra Naomi Torres. She's right here from Margate. She's going to show us on LinkedIn how to make those profiles really sing and get attraction. I have Diana Carolis from Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, and she's going to present her expertise on those messenger marketing chatbots so you can set up some automation on your marketing for your business and collect those email addresses easily. I have Roxanne Ross from Minnesota, and she is the savvy strategista of online marketing. She will show you with those Google Analytics what to look for to make sure it is working. I have Ellen McDowell, who is certified by both Constant Contact and Keep in email marketing to show you how to get that open rate up to 20%. I also have from another Florida local, Sherry Martin, who's been doing online marketing for over 21 years. She stays on top of her game. She's going to present on Facebook groups and show you how to use those groups to collect email addresses, to build raving fans, to stay in communication with people. I'm very proud and honored to have South Florida's very own Andy Henriquez, the master storyteller.
We love Andy.
Yes, he's going to bring it on and put us all in the right frame of mind so we can roll out everything we learned and conquer those mountains we want to climb. The MC for the event is Miss Trish Carr, one of the co-founders of a local women's prosperity network, an international organization that was founded right here in Fort Lauderdale. And of course, I'll be giving some insights into those Facebook ads as well. So next Thursday, September 24th, the Business Boom Expo. The businessboomexpo.com is how people can register. I have VIP tickets on a BOGO sale right now. So those tickets are normally $127 each. You can get two now for the price of one. So think of getting one for yourself and gifting it to a client, gifting it to a colleague who's done you a big favor. Share it with your spouse. VIP tickets include all of the recordings of the event, all of the goodies from the speakers, everything from a 1-minute Facebook live script to a group Facebook group guide to email strategies for that subject line to get things opened.
And is it businessboomexpo.com?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Next Thursday at what time?
12 o'clock Eastern. We're going to kick it off and everyone, I have this fantastic Pilates and yoga instructor, Kayla Kucha. She is right here from Delray Beach, Florida, and she's going to give us some good stretch breaks so we don't become glued to our chair too much. But I think everyone's going to be fascinated by the information that's going to roll out. Make yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a pen and paper, and enjoy the afternoon with these experts because they know their stuff. I could really shut them up when we're doing the interviews.
Well, that is so amazing. I know personally some of the people that you're going to have on there, and they are amazing. They are some of these people have actually helped us in our business, and we have seen growth, through their coaching. So I know that if you are listening and you do not want to miss this Business Boom Expo online, get your tickets, and she's having a BOGO, so you definitely want to take advantage of that. Theresa, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. You have definitely shed some light and some new information that we didn't know, especially about all these programs. If you are watching, we have a few notes that are on the comments on some of the great pointers that Theresa shared with us. And Theresa, how can the audience get in contact with you?
Well, they could go to my website, rightawayleads.com. That's RIGHTAWAYLEADS.com, rightawayleads.com. And they'll find in that bottom right-hand corner a little chat bot that says, would you like to schedule an appointment? And my calendar will pop up there for you. So I know next week the calendar's not will be available, but I'll be busy with the event, so probably the following week. So hop on there and schedule with me. I'd be happy to talk to people about doing some strategies with them. I pretty much I give more than I take on those calls, which is fun. It's great to see people grow. And I love small business. I'm a 4th generation entrepreneur. Yeah. My great grandfather owned a hotel in Syracuse, New York.
Wow.
And it's now a Marriott.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
In the blood.
Yeah. I'm very blessed.
Well, like we said before, we've seen you doing amazing things around the South Florida community for other businesses. That's why we wanted to have you on. And you are part of the Miami Business Leaders Group. So that's another way that people can connect with you, is come join us inside the Miami Business Leaders Group, where Theresa is always sharing valuable information. And you can also, get leads inside of the Miami Business Leaders Group. We actually provide a day, which is on Tuesdays, that you can share all about your business. That is the day that you can go to town on our page and promote. And don't take groups for granted. I know you're going to have someone on your business expo talking about it, but it's worked for us. So we know that don't take these groups for granted. People want to do business with people that they like, the people that they enjoy, people that they have something in common with. Right. So we really found that Miami Business Leaders Group has a great synergy, and people have already closed business inside there. They're already referring to one another. And they don't necessarily message it on the group, but they'll inbox us and they say, oh my God, thank you so much. We this person contacted us from a post. So listen, if you're out there and you are a business leader, entrepreneur, and you want to gain relationships with other business leaders and entrepreneurs, go ahead. Join us inside Miami Business Leaders Group. Theresa's in there, and so many other great people are in there as well. So we have now come to the end of our show. Thank you so much, Theresa. We appreciate you, and we wish you the best success on your Business Boom Expo. Coming up next Thursday. The link of that expo is on the comments below, so that the audience listening can tap into that as well. And again, we are Tanya and Andrea with ARC Solvers, Cybersecurity and IT Services. Again, if you're a business owner and are looking for someone to manage your IT services and cybersecurity, please give us a call. We are available to help you. Thank you, Theresa. You have a great Thursday. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed day.